On this week's episode, we talk about the potential of the new German instructor, Cliff Dwenger.
And the release of the Broadway series, premiering with Hamilton, as well as my interview with community member Maggie Craig, and much, much more.
Welcome to Pelo Buddy TV, your unofficial resource for everything Peloton. By the community, for the community. Here are your hosts, Mark O'Rourke in the UK and Amanda Siegel in the US.
Welcome to Pelo Buddy TV, episode 11. I'm Mark O'Rourke and I'm joined by my co-host, Amanda Siegel. Amanda, are you there?
Hi, Mark. I am here, and welcome everybody to a new week with lots of Peloton news. How are you, Mark?
I'm great, thank you. Yeah, it's been an exciting week in the world of Peloton. Maybe not as many stories as the last episode, but we've still got lots to talk about, haven't we, Amanda?
We have got lots to talk about. And something that just popped up that I, you guys always hear me talk about the Peloton stock price and how well the stock is doing. And we had another bumper week this week. It's been crazy. The stock rose to about 138, 139, I think was top. And there's been reports on Wall Street, Mark, this week that they are looking at pushing the target price to 150. It had been set at 115. That had been the kind of target price that the folks on Wall Street were looking at, and they've now pushed it to 150. So, Mark, it's time to buy.
Well, I've got some news for you, Amanda. I've actually jumped into the Peloton stock. Yeah,
Yay!
I've done it. It took too long. It really did. And the way I was delaying, the price was going up. So eventually I spoke to my son, and my son and I decided to jump in. So we're officially Peloton shareholders.
Good for you.
Now.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, Mark? I can only see it continuing to go up. So I think, as my husband always says to me, there's never a wrong time to buy. You know, it's just, you just got to buy, got to go for it. And you just got to hope, hope and see that it continues to go. So,
Absolutely.
That's awesome. That's
We've
awesome.
had
Well done.
we've had some. No, fine. No. I'm happy I've done it. Got no regrets, and hopefully won't have regrets in the future. But we also had some great news in the UK, Amanda. You may recall Paul Findlay. Paul was on episode 3 of Pelo Buddy TV in the early days, our third episode, and Paul, if you recall, had gone out to the Middle East and had served in, I think it was Afghanistan. And unfortunately, Paul lost a leg. And Paul came on and told his story of how he bought the bike and how it had sort of changed his life around. He'd lost weight and got involved in a charity with the armed forces. And anyway, in regards to that, it was announced this week that he's going to be given an MBE, which means for American viewers and listeners, members of the British Empire. And this is a really major award. And I'm so happy for Paul.
Oh my goodness, Mark, that is how prestigious. That is just amazing. And how lucky for us that we got to interview him here on Pelo Buddy TV way before, right? We could say we knew him when. I do know that that's an incredible honor.
Yeah,
so good for Paul. Wow, that's absolutely fantastic. Fantastic
Isn't
news.
Isn't it?
Yeah, amazing. So again, this just gives you guys an intro for me to say that before we get started with the official news of the week, we do want you to know that you can keep up to date with everything, all our content across all our platforms. Every episode, as well as our breaking news items, is released on our YouTube channel. You just hit the subscribe button at the bottom right-hand side of the video, hit the notify button to make sure you never miss an episode.
Yeah, and also not forgetting podcasts as well. So for everyone who is driving back and forth from work each day or going out and about, and they normally listen to a podcast, then have a listen to Pelo Buddy TV. Our shows are on there every single week, Amanda.
Absolutely. And finally, we're on Facebook and Instagram. So just search for the Pelo Buddy and follow us on these platforms for all of the latest news. You'll never get to miss a thing. And you can certainly go back and listen to that amazing interview of episode 3 with Paul Findlay.
Yeah, so it's now time for the news.
First, let's do a rundown of the latest Pelo news.
A new rumor, Amanda, that new instructors are coming, including German fitness trainer Cliff Dwenger. And we're excited to have with us today Daniel from the German Facebook group. And Daniel, are you there?
Mark, I'm here. How are you?
Hey, I'm great. Thanks for joining us, Daniel. And hopefully we're going to be having you on an episode every so often, and look forward to your contributions. But this is interesting news, isn't it, regarding this new Cliff? And what do you know about him, if anything?
Well, we know that he is a personal trainer over in Hamburg. And if you have never been to Hamburg, Hamburg is a very fit location in Germany. A lot of folks love to do exercise, and him being there is just a perfect fit for a personal trainer in Hamburg.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I was reading up on some of the information, and he obviously specializes in boot camps. And I think that's going to be obviously an addition to maybe German boot camps, Peloton boot camps. What do you think?
Yeah, this is a great time for Peloton to expand to another instructor and to actually provide another piece of exercise for our huge and growing community.
Yeah, the German community is growing, isn't it? And we can see from your Facebook group, Daniel, it's growing every week. And I mean, what was interesting as well with this new chap is that he was the voice of Germany. I don't know if you're aware of that. He's got a great voice.
I did get to see a few of his YouTube videos, and they were very good. So he's very talented. So I think he will resonate with our young population as well as our folks who love to exercise.
It'd be great, wouldn't it, to see Cliff singing when he's on the bike? That'll be a lot of fun, wouldn't it? So yeah, I mean, the place to find out whether this is going to become official, we think it's going to be. But if you want to find out when it becomes official, then I advise everyone to follow pelobuddy.com. Daniel, and tune in, click onto the website and follow all the latest news, because I know for sure Chris Lewis will be one of the first guys to announce it when it finally becomes official.
Yes, we are all on the edge of our seats waiting, and to continue this great journey here in Germany for Peloton.
Well, you've got some other news for us, Daniel, so over to you.
Yes, Mark, this week we had a fantastic event where #GermanLadiesGoPink rode for Breast Cancer Aid Germany. For every kilometer they rode, they donated €1. And this week, they finished with 636 kilometers completed. So €636 were donated to the Breast Cancer Aid Germany.
That's fantastic, isn't it? I mean, that's a great story, Daniel. And I know that we've seen quite a few charity events over the last couple of years, but for it to be going on in Germany now, on the launch of Peloton in Germany over the last few months, it's great. It's great news.
Yeah, we are growing stronger together, and on top of that, we are also expanding, which is fantastic for Peloton and for the German community.
Yeah, well, we look forward to hearing more stories in the world of Peloton in Germany in the coming weeks and coming months. So thanks, Daniel, for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mark.
Some interesting news on this side of the pond surfaced this week. Peloton was hit with an infringement lawsuit by NORDICTRACK bike maker. Icon Health and Fitness, which makes NORDICTRACK, sued Peloton on Thursday, alleging patent infringement. The lawsuit claims Peloton used two features, the swivel monitor and the remote resistance control, or as we refer to auto resistance, that were originally developed and patented by Icon. Interestingly, Mark, Peloton had sued Icon back in May, alleging that it had copied the interactive fitness program and also engaged in false advertising. Peloton has gone on to say that it will fight this lawsuit and characterize the claims as, and I quote, a retaliatory filing intended to deflect attention away from Icon's blatant infringement on Peloton's leaderboard technology and other deceptive practices. So really interesting. And I have to tell you, I think that it certainly didn't affect the stock price, as we mentioned in the beginning of the show. So I'm not too worried about it. Yeah, thank goodness. You're right. And I think that, I think that this is going to be happening. We've all seen it, and we've certainly seen, Nordic, come out there and try their best to supersede Peloton. I don't believe they could ever create a community that we have here. But we felt that it was important to report that had just been filed. And we'll see where that goes.
Amanda, I hate all this sort of legal stuff, but it's big business, it's part of business, and Peloton have to stand their ground and support their company. So let's see how all that pans out in the future. I'm sure we'll talk about it in a future news episode. Now, Amanda, I've got some great news, and I know you're going to love this. A new Peloton Broadway series has been announced. Run and yoga classes. Peloton is creating a new Broadway series where they will curate workouts featuring songs from a specific musical. First up on the list is a set of classes featuring music from the blockbuster Broadway musical Hamilton. Amanda, I think you've done these rides, haven't you? And I also know that you love Hamilton. You've been to see it.
I do, Mark. I do. I think it's amazing that with Broadway and the West End, for that matter, being shut down right now, with no one being able to get to enjoy the incredible musicals that are on there. For them to have taken this on is just amazing. And I am an absolute lover of Hamilton, and the Broadway show was phenomenal. I was fortunate enough to get to see the second to last show with Lin-Manuel Miranda up in New York, and it was spectacular. Interestingly enough, Mark, there was actually a ride that was released I don't remember the exact date, but a couple years ago that did have Hamilton music, but no one really knew about it. It was kind of kept tucked away. So I guess with Broadway being shut down and Peloton just, obviously looking out for everybody, they have released this new Broadway series, as you said, starting off with Hamilton. I did do the ride this past week. In fact, I did the ride twice. I jumped on, I was able to jump on live. I didn't think I was going to be able to, but I was able to jump on live when they released it on the Wednesday evening with Robin Arzon. And it was fantastic. It was hard. It was hard, Mark. Be ready.
Really?
I mean, I take my hat off to Robin as she continues to do fantastically in her pregnancy. I'm curious to see how she'll continue to manage. But let me tell you, it was hard. She had us on an 8-minute climb. And Mark, I had promised everyone that I was going to jump on again on Thursday morning. And I did. So I jumped back on Thursday morning and did the rides back to back. It was amazing. So if you haven't done it, folks, I absolutely highly recommend it. Certainly
and Amanda,
if you're Hamilton.
I was reading that there are 20 other musical themed rides as well, and I love doing the musicals. Do you? I mean, I love The Greatest Showman. That's one of my favorite rides of all time, and I've done that so many times. And I know you love the musicals as well, don't you?
I do. I absolutely love. That is something that I get drawn to. So this was fantastic. So I'm curious to see all the new, all the new Broadway shows that they bring up. And as you said, it's going to be rides, runs. They're even doing yoga to it, which is just amazing. Mark, some other interesting news this week with lots of announcements pertaining around rides and what we can expect. This past week, Hannah Corbin got to team up with Spotify and do a live ride for Viva Latina. Haven't been able to jump on that ride yet, but I have heard that it's fantastic. And looking forward to doing that one. Of course, a huge announcement this week was Sundays with Love Series 2 is coming back, and I am so thrilled. Today was actually the first Sundays with Love. Addie Love jumps on those rides on Sunday around noon, and today was series 2, season 2, episode 1 of Sundays with Love. And I love Allie's demeanor. I love how she is just just so real and raw with with us, with the community. And Mark, I did every single Sundays with Love in the last series. I was absolutely committed, and I would say majority of them were live. A couple I had to do on demand, but they were moving. They were phenomenal. So I'm really excited to continue with this series, and hope that you get to do that too. And lastly, the third Ministry of Sound ride with Ben Oldis is being released too. So I know a lot of folks have loved the first and second ride. I did the first. I didn't have a chance to do the second. But the third is now is going to be released. So we're really excited to see that in the upcoming week. So lots of exciting stuff on the bike, right, Mark?
Yeah, and another important piece of news, Amanda, that broke this week was that Peloton is voluntarily recalling the first generation Peloton pedals, the PR7OPs. Peloton has been emailing owners of the bikes. The email started with the following statement. Peloton, in cooperation with the US Consumer Product Safety Commission, announces the voluntary recall of the clip-in pedals due to the risk of axle breaks. These pedals can accidentally break and may result in laceration injuries to the lower leg. Peloton has received 120 reports of pedal breakages, Amanda, and 16 reports of injuries. Of those, 5 injuries required medical care, such as stitches to the lower leg. A new dedicated support page has been created with more details about the recall. If you're wondering if you have affected pedals, it only applies to those who bought bikes before June 2016. Peloton has provided some details about how to identify if you're affected by this recall. Affected members are able to order free replacement pedals, even though they may be outside of warranty. A link to order the free replacement pedals is provided on the support page. Amanda, according to the government recall page, there are approximately 27,000 bikes that were affected. So it's not a minimum amount, but it's not a major amount. And clearly, we're talking 4 years ago, aren't we? And before. So Peloton are always proactive and sorting it out very, very quickly.
Well, another interesting little tidbit that we can add for this week is that Peloton had quietly announced earlier in the week that they would be dropping support for Bluetooth cadence through the Peloton digital iOS app. But I guess there must have been a big hullabaloo, Mark, because we've since seen that being removed from the section of the support page about the Bluetooth cadence support. We're not 100% sure if they are permanently shelving the plans to remove support for Bluetooth cadence sensors, or just delaying the announcement, or if maybe a Peloton employee mistakenly added the wording to the page. But you can be sure that we will update this information if and when Peloton provides an official statement. And as you know, we always are first to report it here on Pelo Buddy TV.
That's right, Amanda. Always, we're always there or thereabouts, aren't we, with the latest news? And Pelo Buddy, pelobuddy.com. I refer to every single day. Amanda, I don't know about you. If you want to get the latest news, well, that's the place to go to. So, and Chris Lewis does a great job of that, doesn't he? He's always on the ball.
Amazing.
So our final piece of news this week is talking about a podcast that I listened to this week, and it was the podcast featuring CODY Rigsby. We all love CODY, don't we? And he was on Hurdle's podcast, and it was the first of their new season, and it was a really, really interesting podcast, Amanda. He talked about all sorts of things. It was on for over an hour, but clearly, I don't know if you know this, but CODY is officially the director of cycling at Peloton. I wasn't aware of that, so I learned something fairly new there. And look, we all love CODY, don't we? He's so infectious. He's so unapologetically himself, as we all know and all love. But for this episode, he talked about growing up in North Carolina and knowing for the first time when he came to New York. And it was quite interesting. He talked about how he came out as gay, how he broke it to his mother, which was a very difficult situation, as you might imagine. But I think probably one of the major features of the podcast that I picked up on, and as I say, it was on for over an hour, and he talked a lot and talked about lots and lots of things, was that how he is so grateful for getting the job with Peloton, and how he came across Peloton, and how he's never looked back. And he's I'm sure you agree, Amanda, he is Peloton through and through, isn't he? It runs through his veins.
He is. That's interesting. I didn't know that he was the director of the cycling platform either.
No.
So that was something, I'm definitely going to take a listen to that, Mark. That sounds amazing. It's interesting. I think everybody finds their instructor within the community. And as out there as I am, I've always found CODY to be a little bit too much on the bike, and I just can't seem to keep up with his infectious personality.
Yeah.
But I think it may be nice and interesting for us to get to take a listen to the podcast and get to learn a little bit more about the man behind the pedals. So I'm looking forward to taking a listen to that. Thank you for sharing that with us. Yeah, that's awesome.
And that's the end of the news for this week, Amanda.
Let's get to know another person behind the leaderboard name in Pelo Chats.
And now it's time for Pelo Chat. I am so thrilled this week to welcome Peloton community member Maggie Craig. Maggie is someone that I have followed over the last few months, and in preparing for this interview today was almost blown away. I knew she was an avid rider, but I have to tell you, Maggie has completed over 15,000 minutes of workouts on the bike and over 2,100 rides. Maggie, are you there?
Hi, Amanda. I'm here.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
It is truly a pleasure and an honor to have you on the show. I have watched you, over the last few months, and it has been so much fun getting to ride with you and, of course, getting to know you better. And we'll talk more about that in a minute. But to get you on the show and for you to share your enthusiasm as much as I am, and I've said this many times on the show, how my kids will often say to me, Mom, I think you're like the only nutcase out there that is so obsessed with her Peloton. And I'm like, you haven't met some of my new friends. So Maggie, tell us a little bit about yourself. We'd love to hear off the bike first. So tell us a little bit about off the bike.
Off the bike. Okay. So my name is Maggie Craig, and most of y'all know me as, or most people know me as on the bike as Texas Yes or Yes. I've been married, 27 years. And for my 25th wedding anniversary, my husband surprised me with a Peloton. So here I am with my Peloton that he surprised me with, my husband, Jamie Craig. But anyway, I have a 24-year-old daughter, Samantha Craig, actually Samantha Demore, and she's stationed at Joint Base Elmendorf Richardson in Alaska. And we just visited with her and her husband, Joe. And I have a 16-year-old son, Charles Craig, and he's an avid basketball player for the school. He plays for the school, and he plays AAU basketball as well.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. And what I find so interesting, which I'm just learning about you, because of course you don't get personal typically with your Peloton community friends, is that we have so much in common. I've been married 29 years. I have 24-year-old twins, and I have a 17-year-old daughter. So that is just so crazy. Here we come from, two opposite ends of the world, and we have so much in common, and the bike brought us together. And that's just amazing. That's just amazing. Yeah. So how did you you mentioned that Jamie had purchased the bike for you for your anniversary, but how did you find the bike? How did that actually come to be that you decided Peloton was something that you wanted to get involved in?
So I kept on seeing the ads on TV, and it just looked so exciting. I was like, that would be perfect for me. That would motivate me to get my workouts in and to start, a fitness routine. And I've always been into fitness, but nothing has kept me going like the Peloton has. Yeah. And so I kept on bugging him, and he finally, he surprised me with a bike.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing. Well, I know that we didn't talk about it, but you had mentioned to me in the past that you do work from home. So tell me a little bit about that, because obviously being able to work from home and riding as much as you do, I want to hear a little bit about that side of your life too. So share with us as to what you do and work from home, and then we'll kind of talk more about how you manage to do both the bike and work.
Okay, great. So my husband actually he got a position here in San Antonio, so we decided to move. And I'm actually from the area. I'm from Texas. And I told my boss that we were leaving. I gave her the 3 weeks notice, and she wasn't very happy with me. And at that time when that was happening, I was offered another position at another VA. So basically I would be transferring to a different position. So, she would have to hire somebody else for my position. So what I suggested, maybe I should just stay on until you hire somebody and I can train them virtually.
Yeah.
But then while that was going on and we were still waiting for somebody to be hired, my husband said, why don't you just stay on full time? They can hire you as a virtual employee. So I proposed that to my boss, and she's like, are you serious? Give me 2 days. I need to talk to leadership, and then you make a decision if you're going to go to the new position or you want to stay with us. So I made a decision to stay with New York. So actually I work, with the state of New York still at the VA for suicide prevention.
Wow, Maggie, that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. And who would have known that 3 years down the road, the entire world would be working virtually, right? I mean, it's amazing. Right. So you were so ahead of the game by having everything set up, because for me, that's really been the hardest with the pandemic hitting and COVID in transitioning to work from home. It was really hard for me, but you were so fortunate that you had that all, set up for you. That's amazing. That's amazing. And I guess in what you do, my goodness, I can't even imagine, and we honestly commend you and take our hats off to you, because I can only imagine the calls and what you must do with folks. So do you actually speak to those? I mean, is it kind of like a hotline that you do, or what is it
we do? So we do have a call center. We have our own call center.
Okay.
It's called MVP, for a Million Veteran Program, and because we have a lot of projects and we do research where we're at. The hotline was actually upstairs where I was at on site before we moved. So the VA hotline was just on the second floor.
Wow.
So we still work a lot. We work together with the hotline. We do have teams. We have researchers and investigators that work on projects. We have a BHAP program that they do call veterans. Sometimes I do speak Spanish, so I had to translate for help with some of the calls.
Right.
Because the family members were worried and they couldn't speak.
Yeah,
they couldn't speak English, so I had to translate and try to help. As best as I could.
Wow.
So there were moments like that too. So yes, it can get very busy.
I'm sure. I'm sure. And I guess that bike, and hearing some of the stories that I'm sure you must hear, we've all said that the bike is so absolutely fantastic for our mental health, and getting on there and being able to pedal away and just kind of releasing some of that. And I'm sure that that's something that you found to be so rewarding, and being able to do that.
I do want to mention that the VAs, there's some VAs that are testing the Peloton, for our veterans.
Wow. Yes.
I have heard that. I know our location, which is Canandaigua in New York, I don't think they have a Peloton. I'm not 100% sure, but I did hear about other VAs that they have members, they have veterans that do ride with us on that leaderboard.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
I have names. So I'm hoping that this, opens up, to other VA locations and to help our veterans and to reach out to them.
Right.
Amazing.
Yeah. I mean, amazing. And there's no question that we've all said, it would be a wonderful, for folks to be able to do that and have the opportunity to use the bike to just release that, stress that one has, and certainly, being a veteran, it has to, have so much that it's just amazing. Wow. Yes. So you have been a very, very integral part of the community, and I know you're very involved in the Ben's Army platform, as well as Leanne's Yes to You crew. Yeah. What do you like about the community? Share with us what your feelings are as to kind of what brought you together.
I like that we work together, that we lift each other up, that we encourage each other, we motivate each other. And I'm a social butterfly, so this just
another thing,
we come together like that.
Another thing you and I have in common, right? We love people, and I guess that's what drew us and magnetized the two of us together. We just felt it, and I said that to my husband actually when I was mentioning to him that I was going to be interviewing you, and he was asking me, he loves to know who we are interviewing, and when I said to him, I said, Mark, this is somebody that I've never met, that I feel magnetism towards, because we both so motivated in what we do and how we do it. And I'm not nearly where you are. I have a long way to go. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But, just through social media, there was no question that we, connected on social media. And then I love just seeing, getting on and seeing Texas Yes or Yes on the leaderboard for me just lit me up. And it's interesting because over the last few months, there were a group of us that I think have kind of all been riding together. Yes. And I'm loving now that I'm finally, in fact, I actually had to make a list of people's names and their leaderboard names, because sometimes we forget who people are, yes. Which is so frustrating. So mine's kind of easy because my Instagram handle is the same as my leaderboard name, but for others it sometimes is hard to know who everybody is. But I think what I'd love to just mention and share with the community, and just what an incredibly wonderful person you are, and as you and I have gotten more and more friendly over the last few months, we were chatting about the fact that the apparel disappears so quickly, and you had mentioned that you were going into the San Antonio store, and that there was a sweatshirt there that I had been eyeing, and in a heartbeat, you said to me, "I'll pick it up for you. No problem. Just let me know, and I'll pick it up for you." And I think it just shows us that we are in this community so drawn to one another. I mean, there's something about us that people that aren't on Peloton just don't understand. And you know what? At 51, Maggie, I never thought I needed any more new friends, but I have to tell you, I'm loving my new friends that I have.
And I just like your smile. I love when people smile. I love to give. I love to help. That makes me feel good. And I know some people are like, I can't keep up. I can't. It doesn't matter. Right. You're on that leaderboard. We're giving each other high fives. Just being on that leaderboard and seeing your leaderboard name on there. You're on it. It's live. That's why I like a lot of the live classes, because they took the time, right, to get up, to get ready for that ride, and they motivated themselves, right, and then they motivate others on that ride, the community. So if they look at it that way, right, and find the right balance, everybody's at a different level. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you're there, and we see you, and that's amazing, right there. Right. That's the ultimate motivator. And you know what, I think what you've just said is actually so true. I've really struggled over the last few weeks when I switched my bike over. So I've spoken about this on the show, and I know you and I have spoken about this. And when I upgraded to the Bike Plus, one of the things that was so frustrating, which has been that the calibration is significantly different on my new bike, and clearly my old bike was just not right, because the new bikes are auto-calibrated. And I think for me, that was something that was so frustrating, was that all of a sudden I was kind of higher up on the leaderboard, and now I'm kind of, lower down on the leaderboard. But what you've just said just proves to me that it just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. And I'm learning that. And that's something for myself that I have absolutely
accepted over the last few weeks. And it was hard because I am very competitive. I always push myself. I want to, always be better. And I won't stop doing that. I'll continue to push myself and I'll continue to want to do that. But I think, though, what you've just said and you've just taught me is that it doesn't really matter. And as long as we're with a group of friends, no one's judging us and no one's looking and saying, oh, wow, what's happened to Amanda? Like all of a sudden she's at the bottom of the leaderboard. Who cares, right?
It doesn't matter.
Exactly. We get on the bike and we ride as a community.
And I didn't see you today on Leanne's ride. And I was like, well, where's Seglo? Where's my high five? And if you pass me, that makes me feel so good. That makes me know that, you know what, she's working hard.
Yeah.
She's working hard. She passed me. I want you to pass me.
Right.
Go ahead.
We're definitely.
Exactly.
No, I think it's just amazing. It's just amazing. But one of the things that I have to share with you, though, or you can share with the community, and I know people are asking this. So you clearly don't sleep very much. And you choose to be on the bike at all times of the night and day. And I'd love to hear, kind of, how you do it. And is it just, that's just who you are? You're a night owl and getting on the bike at, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning is good. Do share with me that. I think the community would love to hear that.
Okay. So I noticed that, the live rides with Ben and Leanne had changed. And I was like, oh no, I enjoy these rides. So how am I going to incorporate these rides to my schedule? Right. And so I even told myself, I'm getting up at midnight or at midnight to be ready by 12:30. How am I going to do this? So then I changed my schedule. I went to bed a little bit earlier. I made dinner a little bit earlier. I got myself in bed by 8 o'clock. So yes, there was only some days where it's maybe 4 or 5 hours of sleep. But then I had to decide, okay, if I take Ben and Leanne rides at that time and I'm on the leaderboard with the UK or the most of the UK, that there is some US riders on there too.
Right.
If I'm going to do that, then I'm not going to do the 5 o'clock. But then, it's Olivia. And I'm like, I got to ride with Olivia. I can't miss that ride at 5 o'clock. So then what I'll do is, I'll get more rest. Right. I go back to bed. I'm like, I need the next 3 hours. So if you think about it, I did 4. Okay. So I did 4 hours and another 3. So it's about 7 hours, but I interrupted my sleep.
Right. Well, you're amazing. You're amazing.
Thank you. But again, I have to make adjustments to my schedule. And I love when they post the schedule 2 or 3 weeks out, because then I'm already adjusting my schedule. I'm making my schedule for those weeks. Right. And I guess, again, working virtually, you're able to do that. It has made life certainly. And I do it. There's no question. If I know that there's a lunchtime ride and I want to do it because it's live and I know that folks like you are going to be on it, then I'll start working earlier in the morning. So instead of starting my day at like 8 or 8:30, I'll start my day at 7 and take my lunch and do my ride then in the middle of the day. So I think that is the positive of of this process with COVID and being home, is that it does give us that flexibility. Yeah. It certainly does. And I do ride a lot on the weekends with Cinco Saturdays. On Saturday, and I love the Cinco Saturday. I mean, they just motivate each other. It's so motivating. I'll be on. I'm going to be there. And to make time on your schedule. To take the time to rearrange your schedule to be there for Cinco, for Cinco Saturday. It's amazing that we come together.
And there's no question that the community appreciated it. I mean, I've absolutely seen that has, whether it be on Ben's Army's page or whether it'll be on the Cinco's page, that I know that it is, Tony is so appreciative that you do that. And, again, it builds community. It builds community. Well, Maggie, wow, you are an inspiration to me. I have absolutely loved getting to know you better. I know that, we have become fast friends, and I am looking very forward to the day that you and I can meet in New York and ride together in studio, or even better, we can get to London and ride with Leanne and Ben. That's our goal, right?
Yeah, that's what I want to do. Yeah.
I have had the privilege of riding with both of them in the studio in London, and it has been, they are just the most special human beings that honestly are just amazing. And I know that you're so involved in the community with them too. So so that needs to be, please God, when things change in the new year and we're able to do some travel, you and I are booking a trip together, and we'll take some of our other Peloton friends that we've made, and we'll all kind of go together and do that. I would really love that. So that's going to be a goal.
I want to mention one more thing.
Yes.
My weight loss.
Yes, please. Absolutely.
So I lost a total of 75 pounds.
Amazing.
And this journey started December, right? December 2018 is when I got my bike. So from December 28th until now, I've been able to lose 75 pounds and keep the 75 pounds off. So when Matt Wilpers comes on and says it's a lifestyle change, well, it is. You know, so you change your eating habits, you change your schedule to accommodate your fitness, right? So for me, fitness is priority. And again, when you feel like you're having setbacks, like you said with your bike, it's okay, right? You're going to find that balance. It's okay. It'll come with time. Same thing I tell my husband, you can't just get on the bike when you've never been on the bike and then expect the results that I have or somebody else has. Right. Don't make comparisons. Get on the bike, find your balance, pace yourself, and eventually you'll be right there with me or better.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. And I appreciate you sharing that with us. I look at you so fit and healthy now, and I forget that you had mentioned to me that you too had started this, as a weight loss journey. And look at us today. I mean, I have said, I will never be fat again. It is my slogan. It is what I say. And honestly, at 51, I am the healthiest and fittest that I've ever been. And I know that, with this community, it will just keep us going. And I'll never be fat again. I mean, it's just, who we are now, right? This is, well, certainly for me in the second half of my, of my century.
Well, you look great. I don't know if you ever see on the leaderboard, you see 70 plus or, 60 plus. And I'm like, wow. And they're passing me. Yay. I'm so excited for it because I'll be there one day.
Yeah.
I might be passing a 20 or 30 or 40-year-old and I'll be like, wow, I can do it too.
Right. Exactly. No, that's absolutely fantastic. Well, Maggie, thank you. Thank you so much. What we always love to do to end off our show is we do what we call, as you know, our descent and recovery. It's our 60-second segment where I get to ask you some questions and you get to fire away the answers. So I would love to go ahead and start you off on that, and we'll see how quickly you can get these questions answered. Sound like an idea?
Sounds great. I'm ready.
Fantastic. And let's go. Bike or tread?
Bike.
Favorite instructor?
Ben Aldis.
High cadence or high resistance?
High resistance.
Night owl or early riser?
Early riser, sometimes a night owl.
All right. Meditation or strength training?
Strength training.
Live or on-demand rides?
I prefer live, but I'll take on-demand rides as well.
Perfect. First class ever taken?
First class was with the Ali Love, and I believe it was a 30-minute, it could have been a Tabata. It was tough.
Oh my goodness. Wow. And just, you're doing amazing. And tell us, what is the craziest leaderboard name you've ever seen?
Craziest leaderboard name. I didn't want it. Well,
3, 2, 1. You're done. I know that one does stump a lot of people. Stump a lot of people. Wow, that's amazing. I will not tell Leanne that Ben is your favorite instructor. We'll keep that between us. Although I'm hearing that they watch the show, so right, you better be careful. But no, that's fantastic. I mean, that's just that's what it's all about, right? So tell us again. I know you told us at the beginning of the segment, but tell us again, and for everybody that's watching, what your leaderboard name is, because you will end up with tons of new followers. I don't know if you have capacity for any more, but tell us what it is.
So it's Texas Yes or Yes. When you pass me on that leaderboard, send me a high five and I will return the favor. I'll return that high five. I enjoy it.
I love it. I love it. Well, Maggie, again, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us. We have absolutely loved having you on the show. And I'm looking forward to lots more rides together with you. So see you on the leaderboard.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Thank you, Pelo Buddy.
It's time to celebrate our fans' milestones with Pelo Shouts.
Hey, Jack Cave, happy 200.
Sue Cinco, Ms. Bojangles. Choose to be kind.
Rosie 76, how does 150 feel today? Yes to you. Gabby, Biohacker Mom. 300 runs, Gabby, what's up? KK Marker, 500.
Sean, happy 1800. I don't need to fight. Triple strong. To prove I'm right. Happy 1200.
Okay, my Peloton UK community. Big shout out to Paul Finley on your MBE, my friend. How amazing is that? Yes to you. Incredible.
Did you hit a milestone this week and get a shout out by your favorite instructor? Don't forget to let us know.
So that's the end of another bumper-filled episode 11. And I was really excited to talk about the potential of the new German instructor.
And of course, the Broadway series rides that are being released. We're really excited about that, with the first being Hamilton. And I got to interview Maggie Craig, community member. So it really was a fantastic week, Mark. Thank you so much for joining, everybody. We look forward to seeing you again next week. Hope you enjoyed this episode. And of course, if you did, please comment, whether it be on our Facebook page, Instagram, YouTube, or on the podcast. Leave a comment if you loved the episode. And if you didn't love it, tell us that too. Let's see what we need to change, if there's anything you want to see. But thanks so much for joining us. Bye for now.
Bye for now.
Thank you for watching Pelo Buddy TV, your unofficial resource for everything Peloton. By the community, for the community. Don't forget that we have a podcast available so that you can listen to us while on the move. Just search for Pelo Buddy TV on any major platform and hit the subscribe button to never miss an episode.